Hey, it's Emmett from Haven for Heroes. We've got a new show coming to the network. Come on in, check out the shop. We got the kids' comics right up front, so when they come in, we're making new comic book readers all the time. We got Scholastic's, I'm a Scholastic dealer. We got Pops for days. Got other toys and collectibles. Comics, we got lots of comics. Gotta excuse the mess though. We just had free comic book day and it was a banger, and they trashed the place, but that's great. We'll clean it up later. Come through, we got some recent back stock here. The last couple of weeks is here. More Pops, DC. We got our Magic. We do Magic the Gathering. We got a couple of cases of that. We got our fancy jewelry case for the high-end stuff. We got all our sealed product. We have some Pokemon back behind there. We got our beautiful wall up here. Video games, we do retro video gaming. Lots of it, tons of it. Nintendo's very popular, very hot, Sega. Then we got some custom setups here. We got some custom colors, custom boxes. Then we have our library, we call it. We have over 1 million Magic cards for making decks and sets. And then we have 900 square feet back here of play space. So that's our shop. We're gonna talk about running a comic book collectible shop. That's gonna be our show. Come in, tune in, watch us. Take care. Hi, welcome. It's Emmett from Haven for Heroes. And this is our new series called So You Want to Open a Comic Shop. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the different business models, like online, some of the big dealers like Cyberspace Comics and Mile High Comics, large like Forbidden Planet and Midtown. Medium, there's tons of different examples of medium, but they're going to have a population of up to 100,000 in around the area. And then small like ours, where we got a population about 10,000 in our city. So we're going to go through all those different types. We're also going to bring in guests from all those different genres of business models, and we're going to talk to them about how they do their business, how they do their buying. We're also going to talk about the industry and where we think it's going and where it's been. So we're going to do a little bit of history of the comic industry and comic book stores and the rise of them. We're also going to hopefully bring in guests from the publishing industry so we can talk to them about where it's been and where it's going for them in the future. So if you have any interest in opening a comic shop or selling comics even on the side, because there's also a third business, there's a fifth business model, which is the side hustle, where you can start up and just do comics just online in a small sense instead of a large scale. And there's all kinds of different, we're going to go through all the different selling apps. We're going to talk about them, pros and cons of everything. This is not going to be a sales pitch for anybody. This is all just going to be information. In fact, what we're asking mostly from the viewers is if you could please leave us comments about what you need to know, what you want to know about how the comic industry works, how comic stores work, how collectibles work. We're going to go through the whole procession of ordering from Diamond and how they do their initial orders, and then Lunar and Penguin. We'll also show some ordering from some of our distributors for gaming like Magic and Pokemon, and what you have to do to get up and running with that. So it's going to be this show is going to be all about starting and running a comic book shop. And so we've been open 7 years. We're not a huge lightning storm, fantastic success, but we're still in business 7 years later through COVID. So we've had some pitfalls, and we're going to talk about all those. We're going to talk about the goods and the bads, and the craziness that is being a comic shop owner. We're also going to talk about how to run tournaments and how to run all the different kinds of tournaments. Not only do we do Magic the Gathering and Pokemon, but we also have run video game tournaments, and some of our other stuff like collectibles, buying and selling of collectibles, and the percentages, the margins that we look for. We're going to get really in depth from our shop. I can't guarantee that when we bring in guests that they'll be as forthcoming, but hopefully they will, so that you get a good idea of how the comic book business model works. And it works differently for everybody. And that's what we want to give you, a taste of everything. Because I'm closer to an old school, what they call an old school comic shop. We do a little bit online. We had to do a lot more online since COVID, but we really have a big backstock. We promote readers. We love when people collect, and we don't mind dirty flippers. But our focus is on getting people reading these books, because that's your long-term business, is the people that fall in love with the stories and fall in love with comics. And that's how I ended up in the comic book business, because I've loved them since I was 7 years old. I've been reading comics that long. My tastes have changed. A lot of times my tastes didn't come out making me any money. I like to read a lot of stuff that is hard to make into television, very fantastical stuff, or very weird stuff. But it also is a point for the businesses that you can't just buy what you like if you're the owner. You have to buy what everybody likes. Big complaint in the business is comic snobs, where you go into a comic shop and they put down what you like to read. That'll never happen here, and hopefully most of the guests that we bring in, most of them are good friends of mine, or of the channels. I know there's some really good owners out there that are friends of the Tales of the Flip Side, and we hope to get them on the show also. One of the big things that I don't do, which is a big part of the business now, which I'm kind of going to try to dip my toe in at some point, is making variants, doing store exclusives. I haven't done one yet, and we're going to try to have a couple of different stores on that have done them, and they'll hopefully help us through the whole process of doing that. So you can be with us when we're doing our first variant. So that'll be another big moment in our history, but it also, I think, will be a good learning experience for everybody that's interested in getting into this business. Now, will I be a millionaire selling comics? Yeah, maybe. It's quite possible. Comics come through our door weekly. People bring us collections all the time. And is it possible that somebody could bring us Amazing Fantasy 15? Yeah, it's possible. I've seen stuff close. I've had stuff come in. I've had an old Hulk 180 and Hulk 181 come in the door. I've had a Spider-Man 2 and a Spider-Man 50. And as everything that's on the wall here has come through the door, there's no $1 million books, no tens of $1,000 books, but a couple of books in the $1,000 range. But it can always happen. That's one of the things I love about the business is the negotiating and buying that stuff that comes through the door. But we're going to go through all that and how we do that, and like I said, what percentages we go, and hopefully we can get some of those filmed. If we're going to try to do that too, and some of that. But like what I said, it's super important to help us out, commenting on what you want to see in this show, because it's really, the show is for you. It's not for us. We're not going to be selling anything. Everything is for sale, of course, but that's not what this show is about. We're really a local little comic shop that gets people to come through the door and buy our comics here. We do a little bit online, and like I said, we'll get into that. But the majority of our business that keeps our doors open is our Magic the Gathering, and we're going to go big time into that, and how it's almost like the stock market, and how you can profit very well in the singles, and that how the sealed works, and all that. buying and finding retro video games, how to find those in your local area. We're going to go into a lot of different resources that, like everybody thinks, oh, all the resources are on the internet. They're not. There's a lot of other resources. There's a lot of home runs, and I'm going to be giving all that information out. I'm not holding anything back. There's going to be no secrets kept from our side. So if you see something that you're wondering about, ask us. I might not know, but I'm going to know somebody who does know. Got a lot of good contacts in the publishing industry and in the actual comic industry as retailers, and I'm going to tap into all those guys and hopefully have them as many guests as we can. We're going to do a great tour soon of a large internet dealer, and we're going to go through his warehouse and see his stuff, and he's going to talk about it, the platforms he uses, and pretty much how his business model works. Another part of the series is going to be about all the boring stuff about being an owner of a comic shop, is like buying paper towels and garbage bags and toilet paper and printer paper and floor cleaner and toilet bowl cleaner and hand soap for the bathroom. Yeah, I know, it's boring, right? Yeah, because it is boring. It's like, I'm going on and on because that's what it's like. And you have to keep up on that, and we're going to talk about that and where you can, the different deals you can find and get from that. Set up subscriptions for people, and what's your subscription deal? I'll go in through what mine is, and hopefully a lot of the other dealers will tell us what their subscription deal is for customers. We're going to do a lot of in-depth stuff. If you're ever thought of opening a comic book shop, or even any retail business, this is going to be a lot of stuff that can be used by anybody. We're also going to talk about making videos for YouTube, and we're going to go into the whole thing and making ads. How about your advertising budget? What you're going to spend on advertising, and where are you going to spend it? Are you going to spend it on Facebook ads, Instagram ads? Are you going to do it locally through the radio? Some places have local television stations that even do ads. So we'll even go through that, and hopefully we can find some, we'll definitely bring in some representatives. We'll go through what ads cost, about how much to make an ad. And right now, you're watching this film by Bearded Rooster Productions, and they'll talk about what they charge to make an ad for somebody. We're going to try to bring in people, the different ideas on whether they do newspaper anymore. We have something called the Little Paper, which we advertise in, and we'll show you that. It's a little local thing that's done locally. We've also done diner mats, and whether that was good or bad, and how our experience. But we're going to bring in, it's not just going to be for me. I've been only in business 7 years. We're going to bring in industry leaders, and they're all going to talk about all their different experiences. So you're going to get hopefully all levels from this show. And we're also going to talk about how and where to get your supplies for like bags and boards, and that there's not just one dealer out there, and we'll talk about the different ones. This is all going to be kept not personal, and not my, I've had videos on my own channel of the experiences I've had with some of them, but we're just going to give you who's out there. It's not going to be good or bad. It's just going to be the options. And we're going to also talk about who you can reach out to for a lot of different information, and all the little small business administration. We're going to talk about their department and what they can do for you as a business owner. So this is going to be not a beginning to end, not like how to open your doors, but it's going to be all the different parts for opening a retail comic book collectible shop. And we hope that you really enjoy it. We really want you to be involved and help us out with what you want to see and the knowledge that you need. Maybe you're a new comic book shop and you're having a tough time with something. Maybe we can help you out with it. So the lifeblood of a comic shop is subscriptions. The New York Times posted several years ago, you can find it online, the story about Each comic book subscriber spends about $40 a month. So you figure that, how many of those you need to pay your rent. Once your rent's paid, and you can then worry about other things. But so we had over 50 subscribers at one point before COVID, and it retracted all the way back to 4. Yeah, just 4. So we've now built back up to 12, and we're going to try to get back up to that 50 number. But we are currently using a super archaic way of managing it. Before everybody left Diamond, Marvel and DC, they had a nice subscription thing that finally was working well. And once everybody left, that blew that whole system up. So we're going to be looking for a new subscription management program, and you're going to be with us the whole way. We're going to look at all the different programs. We're going to get suggestions from all the viewers, and probably from some of the other retailers. We're going to find out what they're using for their subscription base. But that's a real important part of your business. The way we do our subscriptions currently is that they get pulled before they go out, before the comics go out in the stands. We try to pick the very best books, condition-wise, and we bag and board them, and they get 10% off their books. So they get free bags and boards and 10% off. I know there's a lot of different models out there, and we're going to be talking to other shops about that. And then different models may work in different areas better than others. So that's going to be a big part of the show also. We are going to be looking at all these different things that can profit you in a way that it's consistent. Subscription basis, as you see online, on television, if you watch Shark Tank, they're always hot for the businesses that have a subscription model. So that's just part of our business, is the subscription model, but it is a great part. But it also builds a community, because these people are the people that are going to show up every Wednesday or Saturday to pick up their books. You get to talk to them about new books coming out. They're the people that are going to get your previews guides, and they're going to comb through it to find the new hot book that's coming out. But also, sometimes you get like a speculator, and they're going to just contact you. They don't want every Moon Knight. They don't want a subscription like this where they get every issue. They may say, hey, I want 10 of this new book coming out, or they want 25 and the 1 in 25. So how to do that and how to handle that, and what you got to go about. So like a lot of people, what I do for my subscribers is if they want a 1 in 25, I give them the 1 in 25 for free, but they have to buy 25 issues. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't sell 25 issues. I'm in a very small market. If a very popular book for me will be like between 5 and 10 copies. Sometimes I overbuy to get to that 1 in 10, but I almost never get a 1 in 25. But I'm willing to order it if the customer's willing to buy those 25, and I will give them the 1 in 25 for free. I also give them a little bit better discount than the 10% if they're buying 25 books, just to cover my shipping and a little bit of profit for the shop. So we'll talk about, like I said, no secrets held back. We're going to be all about telling you all of our tricks and trades that we use in the comic book industry, in the magic industry, in the Pokemon industry, in the retro video gaming industry. We are doing everything. And for the other show, we also do VHS. We have a ton of sealed VHS, including mostly a lot of Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon videos, but also a lot of horror stuff. So we're going to bring that up, and we'll show some of that stuff. We don't really have a big spot for it in the shop yet. We're doing most of that online. But that's the other thing we're going to go into, is does everything have to be in the shop? If you're going to be doing sales online, can you be doing other things that people bring into the shop that is profitable if you can buy it right? Speaking of online stuff, we're going to talk about your POS system also. And so we purchased the one from Diamond, but now that it doesn't really have all the functions that it had now that they had the breakup. We may be moving on to another one. We'll go through that whole process here also. But there's also a lot of other things that you have to, like all of the different formats and platforms to sell online. Also, you know, getting a CPA. Do you need a CPA for a comic book shop? Do you need to have a lawyer on retainer? Where do you get your insurance? What types of insurance? Like currently, my insurance, just as a little snippet, is capped. So collectibles have a cap on them unless you go through different companies. Now the price varies quite a bit when you go from a capped system to an uncapped system. And we'll talk about that, and we'll go through the different companies that are actually giving insurance for collectibles. And if you're doing it through your house, how you can get maybe a rider. So we're going to be talking to some insurance agents too. Like I said, this is going to be a full view of everything. It won't be in chronological order because it'll be the timing of about how I can get guests and the different subjects. But we're going to be all about talking about everything you need in not only the comic business, but the collectible business, and really good for any business out there starting up, the things that you need to think about, the things you need to have, and the attitude you need to have. We're going to be talking about that too. How much time can you put in? I actually do this part-time. I have a full-time job. It's a pensionable job, so I'm going to wait. You know, I'm holding out for that retirement and that pension, so I'm doing double duty. Luckily, I have two really good partners right now who are working partners, and when I can't be around, they're holding up the shop and doing the right thing. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about taking on partners, and we'll talk about how much money you want to make or you can live on in your area. And if you opened a comic shop, could you survive? Could two people survive? And we'll talk about that. And that's really all about, it'll come down to the hustle. But we'll talk about the different models and how you can get there and what you can do. I know we're going to have a couple of people who are way more successful than me that are going to have some really good insight on how to make money in this business. And I'm going to learn a lot. I hope you guys learn a lot too. Like I said, we're not holding anything back. All of our pimples and scars. So this is our basement where we're storing some stuff currently. We're going to talk about that and helping to plan for that and what you need to do about buying habits. So there's about 100,000 more comics down here than there is upstairs. And if they can't see it, you can't sell it. So what do? So we're going to do a basement sale at some point coming up and have some of our good regular customers. It won't be a free-for-all, so it'll just be for a specific group of people that buy a lot of back issues, and they'll have free reign to come through here, and they'll get a killer price to cut down some of my inventory because we have a line on a really big collection that we're working on. So that's going to be a big part of the show too, is like everything, like the mistakes we made, the buying mistakes we've made, accidentally buying fakes. There's going to be all that, and it will be laid bare. So I really hope you guys enjoy the new show, and I want to thank the guys at Tales from the Flip Side for letting me join in on their network and get this out there about how to run a comic book shop. So tune in. I think we're going to be weekly. We'll see. Until then, be good.